Hello, this is Marvin Glotfelty. I'm a hydrogeologist from Arizona, also a licensed well driller, here with another NGWA industry connected video. Today, we're going to talk about things that we know versus things that are unknown, and how that differentiation is a little bit of a fuzzy line. And so we have to keep in mind, and I say this over and over when I give lectures to folks, what we know is actually just a little bit versus what we don't know is a lot. But what about the things that we think we know but are not quite certain about? So there's that as well. So an example that you hear about in well construction oftentimes is maybe a driller is having problems with, say, downhole stability or something. And so they increase the viscosity of their drill mud, they put a little more weight on the bit, and they grease all the greasers, and then they paint the rig purple. Now they drill ahead and it's just fine. Things are much better. So the driller goes around saying, yeah, that purple paint, that works every time. And so, yeah, was it that purple paint, or was it one of 5 other things? If you have multiple things you change, and often there's not just one thing you try, because we're not doing science, we're trying to get a job done. We're not trying to do one thing at a time and see if it works. Yet we want to learn lessons too as we go. But learning lessons on the fly while we're just working out there can be a little bit more of a challenging situation. So it's one of the things that leads to potential unknowns, like Donald Rumsfeld would say, unknown unknowns and known unknowns. So it's okay to know that you don't know something, but if you think you know it, but you don't know that you don't know it, that's when you get into trouble. So how can that happen? I had a colleague recently tell me that they were doing a pumping test. So they have a drawdown curve, and they were measuring the water levels with both a pressure transducer and a water level sounder. So the 2 lines were right on top of each other, and suddenly they diverged. And the pressure transducer was deeper, and the sounder was higher. How can that happen all of a sudden at a certain depth? Well, he passed this information on to me and another principal in our firm, and we looked at it and told him we thought that there was probably cascading water in the well coming down. Because remember, a water level sounder, just electrically, when it touches something wet, it'll make the needle jump and make the beep happen, and so that's the water level. Whereas a pressure transducer measures the pressure head of water above it, and so it's just measuring the same water pressure head, but with water's coming down, as soon as that electrode from the sounder touches it, it's going to say, oh, the water level is higher, higher, higher. So that's where things can diverge. We can envision this, but we don't know this for sure. So there's so many times. Let's say that we're filling in an annulus with filter pack sand or something. We have a tag line and we're tagging it and tagging it and tagging it. And sometimes my field staff are frustrated because they say, well, it's coming up when it should be going down, it's going down when it should be coming up, there's all these changes. Well, there's so many different things that could be happening. We could have slough material come in. We could have an inaccurate tag. We're just doing a tag by feel. That's actually pretty inaccurate, even though that's the standard that most drillers use that I know. So there's all different kinds of ways that something else could be happening. What we have to do in these cases, what all that's left to do, is to visualize from our experience and our understanding of physics and chemistry and such, what is the possibilities, and just think it through. And kind of eliminate things that are very unlikely or just don't make sense with our situation, and then come down to what it probably is going on. That seems pretty inaccurate, and it is, but that's the best we've got, because we're not wearing white coats in a laboratory and being precise. We're out there drilling wells. It might be 1,000-foot deep hole, and we're trying to understand what's going on 1,000 feet away from us down in the earth, where we can't get there to measure anything. We can look back at our geophysical logs and our cuttings and our drilling rates and things like that, and that's where we can come up with our best understanding of what's going on. But we don't know for sure. There's so many things that we can we can miss on. So this is something that we should just keep in mind as we work on any project, whether it's at the start of the well when we're picking out our drilling fluid properties, or at the end of the well when we're doing our aquifer testing. It really is across the board. Always remember that there's very little we know, and so we need to embrace the things that are not certain, and then don't get too lost in the idea that now we know something. Are you absolutely sure? Could there be a misunderstanding? Could something else be going on? Remember, we're interacting with Mother Nature in the groundwater business, and Mother Nature does what she will. I mean, and it's all over the board. I have seen water levels across 10 feet horizontally change by hundreds of feet vertically. Maybe there's a fault in the middle. Maybe something else is going on, but things can change, and they do. And so you can be surprised by extreme situations. They do occur out there. So keep that in mind. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you next time.